apologies in advance. I am not doing well. Almost didn't do this at all, but I figured better do it lest everything pile up. Only 3 issues, but it's past time to get to them if I want to keep doing this. So there you go. So once again, World's Finest. Of course, you know, I've lavished praise on it despite its author's problems. But this one, it's not bad. It's not all that spectacular. And the odd thing about it is that it begins with a story that probably should have been the backup. With the story that's in the back as being a part of their main storyline or continuity of the series. So it is a series that takes place in the past. And yet they go back even further in the past for this story about the first team up of Lex Luthor and the Joker. So, and it's a different artist on this story. Dan Mora does the second story. So, Gotham City, some years ago. I'll grab the clown. You deal with this poison gas. So, it's green, but it's not kryptonite, so Superman can suck that up. Sigh. I mean, not literally sigh. You, what's now? So, looks like he's murdered a bunch of people, so they're a little late. Superman gets rid of the gas, you know, out there. Shouldn't hurt anybody. Would be funny, though, if it affected some aliens and made them all jokers or something. Anyway. So I said, it's casino night. What do you mean? It's all electronic transfers. Doesn't anyone deal in gas anymore? I don't know how you do it, Batman. Handle the Joker. At least my enemies think rationally. This one has somewhat predictable behavior if you're capable of imagining the world through his eyes, which, as I've repeatedly said, you're not. I stand outside if I were you, Doctor. Even in a straitjacket, Joker can find ways to be deadly. Thank you, Batman. I'll be careful. What's this? He's peeling his head off. Even Joker is stunned. Ta-ta! Wait, I recognize you, don't I? It's entirely likely. I do make the news now and again. My name is Lex Luthor. Oh. I have need of your services. Come with me if you want to kill. Yeah, see? Did a little turn on the Terminator line. So anyway, in Metropolis, the manuscript is 100 years old. Found clutched in the hand of an unidentified, can't say the word, because it's YouTube, you know. Cryptologists have been trying to interpret it for nearly a century. Unfortunately, every attempt has the same result. It drives the reader irrevocably insane. It's tainted by something supernatural. Given my unparalleled intellect, I've made more progress decoding it than anyone else. But even I can't stare at it for too long without risking madness, which is where you come in. Luthor's journal. The first step was to brief the clown. Apparently, literally, they must have, I don't know if they gave him briefs. Anyway, ow! What's the pins, bub? I dress left, by the way. No one asked. Pay attention. There are no meaningless rantings. They detail the location of a magical artifact of unspeakable power. They're a map. The next, to show him who was in charge. And you're going to read it for me. Hey, what's with the horse collar? Explosive insurance. I need you because you're the best candidate to fully decipher the document. You're already insane. You help me, I share the treasure. You cross me, I turn your head into a piñata. You might want to stain-proof the duds that, I mean, I don't know, the continuity is how quickly he waits to respond. Quite some time later, when he change his clothes. I don't know. Nice work, Needleman Cigar. No. And speaking of fine dress, aren't you found money? I do miss the 1%er look, though. One does not spelunk in a $100,000 Alexander Amasu. I'm not familiar. As I was saying, I love the colors. We're a match set. No, we're not. You're right. Not yet. Where's the bathroom? Never mind. Found it. So there you have. And one of these things, there's been several stories about the first time Luther and the Joker teamed up, because Batman and Superman team up, so now they have to. But why would someone like Luther ally himself with the Joker? Well, there's got to be some plan, and here they detail what it is, and then insanity ensues. As for the next story, which details more of the overall story they're getting into with World's Finest, picks up what the ground laid in the annual. And so is there any connection to this? It's possible whatever happened in the fifth dimension is related to the story here of what the Joker does. So, okay, I think it's groundwork for something. Or they just threw this in here for no good reason other than to say, hey, look, it's Luther and the Joker. And then they move on with their Batmite and Mixelplick. I still like calling him that. I know they changed it. They didn't change it. Apparently it was always Mixes Piddleick, but that just sounds really perverse. But anyway, could be that this is something that resulted in the other. So anyway, two stories set in the past, just at different points, in the past. Meanwhile, over in Superman number 12. Well, we still have the problem of guys who want to stick it to Luther, and Superman caught in the middle, but not really in the middle anymore. He's on Luther's side. Yeah. So here we go.
It's working. For years, my dear brother and I dreamed of Metropolis as our very own petri dish. And now, before my very eyes, hundreds of thousands of people perish from advanced kryptonite poisoning. And the whole world will know it was because of Lex Luthor.
The chain and farm are still knocked out, but I need to get out there. Stop Letitia.
If you do, you will die. As you said, Superman, you rejected our offer to join our Lex Luthor Revenge Squad, and now you will pay. Your fate is sealed.
Then Luthor shows up and knocks him out, and everyone's very grateful.
Oh, shut up. God, did I ever monologue that much, Superman? Sometimes. Where did you find that armor?
Where he left it when the last time they did this storyline, when Lex Luthor was posing as a superhero and joined Justice League. Remember? Or is that universe warped retcon shenanigans? I don't know.
I'm going out there. Supercar can secure Chained and Farm while I stop my mother from killing my city. Luthor, I'll go. Use your head. The altered kryptonite I created has accelerated effects. If you got even a crack in the armor during the fight, it would kill you instantly. The same goes for you. It will take a bit longer, just enough time to save some lives and potentially stop my mother. This is all my fault, so if I die today, so be it.
Boy, that sounds like Luther, doesn't it? You see the problem, then.
We can't let him do this. Yes, we can. And we're going to help him. LL1? Yes, Superman, how can I be of assistance? Access the building's communications and put out a message. All Supercorps employees left inside the building, report to my office immediately. We've got work to do. Listen up, everyone. I know we haven't spent much time together.
Oh, look, he's got a coat and stuff. Maybe it helps him a little bit. I don't know. He just decided to put. Maybe it's cold in there, you know. And with the kryptonite, he's weaker. I don't know.
At first, I wasn't sure what to make of this supercore. But you have shown me how much you want to help make not just Metropolis, but the world a better place. I might not be able to leave this building, but I can still save Metropolis with your help. While Luther engages with Letitia outside, we will assist him. Explore every option, every tool at our disposal. Leave no stone unturned. I've been told you are the finest minds in the world, and I believe that together we can find a way to reverse what Farm, Graft, and Luther did to create this new kryptonite gas attack.
They're like, wow, he's amazing.
Now go. Yes, sir. Superman.
Oh, come on. Oh, that's right. This is the pages are put together. What happens next? Well, you know they're going to save the city. But how do they do it? And all that stuff. Well, the overall narrative of Luther's sins coming back to haunt him was not a bad one. It's just replaying this business of him being Superman's pal. Not really, they bicker and whatnot, but the idea that Superman has to trust him because Luther's intentions are good now, which they'd already done. But they decided to do it again. Meanwhile, over in Spider-Man, they're doing the same thing with Norman Osborn, which is even more of a stretch, but that's Spider-Man, you know. But and then to add insult to injury, this retconning Luther's background that he was a superhero in his, you know, little outfit and everything. No. That's stupid. The essence of it is that he screwed these guys over. He made use of them and he discarded them. That's typical Luther. That could play out. And this situation with his family and stuff, you could have left that in there and have that play about. And then that there's this come to truth moment for Luther, but ultimately he is Superman's main villain, so you've gone so far where now he's willing to sacrifice himself for the sake of the city and all that. The Luther story is over at that point. He cannot go back to being a villain. Unless you do some ridiculous thing where he was going too far, Superman stopped him and he never forgives him or whatever, and he goes back to being a bad guy because, well, I'm going to be a bad guy now. Now, there's things you could do, there's things you can't. If you do a certain thing, you can't go back to the way it was. So the rumor has it they're on the cusp of starting a new line similar to Marvel's Ultimate Universe for DC, and probably to just start over because things are so messed up. Yeah, probably should. But this is with not that long ago that already did this sort of thing with Luther trying to be a superhero. Here, I think it's even worse because of this business of when he was a young man, he had his own costume and everything, and I just no. There's elements to it that's interesting, and but it's crowded by the stupid that ruins it, and that's the problem. So now they're moving into another Superman event with House of Brainiac, and the idea that all of this was Brainiac all along, and maybe the payoff is that Luther is not himself; he's been manipulated by Brainiac, or something of that nature. But then at this point, you've come this far, that would be kind of stupid as well. Unless there was something akin to time travel or something, and it never happened, which is kind of what happened in the Bizarro story in action that Superman did. And with the Joker helping him, and that, so you have the same scenario there where Superman's the only one who knows. Luther has it in him to be a good guy, but, he doesn't remember now because it never happened or something like that, Could do that. But it's just stupid to pursue it in the first place, at least in the way they've done it. Could there still be a big tragic thing that tells Luther, I was wrong to pursue this all along, Superman's my enemy, and that's that? Yeah, I guess so, but you've dragged this out too far at this point. It's unfortunate. because there's some things here, but other villains wanting revenge on Luthor, Superman forced to defend him, that kind of thing could play out fine. But yeah, so that's too bad. Meanwhile, at Marvel, one of the few titles that has any real hope for it of late, I'm not certain. Moon Knight, the title character, was supposedly killed off. Now there's this other Moon Knight who may or may not be the original Moon Knight. But that's where they're going with it. And still, there's some interesting aspects to it. And a mystery man, Moon Knight, okay, that could play out. But they're really putting a lot of roadblocks in the narrative structure. So here we go. It should have been me. And the Moon Knight new outfit is really cool, and he should have always been in a black suit. But there again, there's still the problems. It's the inner lining of the cape is white. The symbols is really bright. So you still see him coming. But the other suit was all white. But of course, in the past, Khonshu could help him resurrect, so it didn't really matter if you got a clean shot at him. So we got some review pages that skips around. Basically, the premise of the story: a soldier is in therapy, and it's narrated during his therapy session. Meanwhile, a bunch of villains are sick of Moon Knight's brutality on them, so they decide to go take him out, and they head over to the Midnight Mission, unaware that that Moon Knight is not a part of that, and they don't acknowledge him as Moon Knight and this sort of thing. So they get in a big fracas, and there's really no reason to read it all. It was neat to see the Looter show up. There he is. Remember that crazy Spider-Man villain? But they're kind of goofy villains, and they're really no match for the Midnight Mission guys and all of that. So they seek out help from an unlikely ally but we got to bring in this fake Moon Knight. So this fake new Moon Knight wearing the boss's colors is making trouble for us, scaring the supervillains. Well, that was the idea. Bringing heat to our door, to our neighborhood, our territory. Turning it into a war zone. It was a war zone before the original Moon Knight died. Anyway, he's tearing down everything the boss built. So he's a brutal vigilante, and they got to do something about him. And so there you go. As the mission continues, and the mystery of this new Moon Knight also continues, although barely makes an appearance in the title that's called Moon Knight. But the therapy sessions, I'm hoping now they've done it with Soldier. I think he's the last one, so maybe they won't do that anymore. It's really annoying and just kind of a lazy narrative structure for the story. It could have been done like in the first issue after the death of Moon Knight, where each character was getting their therapy over their grieving process and whatnot, and dealing with what's happening. And you still could have had a Soldier being the main narrator of what happened. They get attacked by those villains, and the reason they're attacked is because this guy is messing things up. So I guess it's all right, but the constant therapy sessions is really past annoying at this point, and kind of lazy, you know. You got to shuffle things around. Of course, I realize you did by killing off the main character and having this mysterious replacement, but anyway, time to leave the therapy couch and get into more of the action. So anyway, there you go. That's about all I could do for this time around. I'm having some audio problems as well. Sorry about that. And hopefully next week will be a better go at it. So take care, and we'll see what happens next Wednesday.